The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to Melbourne Business School's online information session. It's Thursday morning, the 23rd of July 2015 here in Australia. My name is Pete Manasaki-Vongs. I'm currently serving as Director of Global Engagement. Formerly, I was the director of this 12-month full-time MBA program. We're delighted that you've made the time and effort to join us for this information session. So, just to tell you a little bit about Melbourne Business School, we are the graduate business faculty of the University of Melbourne. We're the first business school in Australia to offer the MBA. In fact, this is the 50th anniversary of our first class of MBA graduates. So we have a long pedigree that attests to the education and experience that we can offer to MBA students. We work very hard to construct a global classroom. In fact, the current students that we have, they represent about 20 different countries, and they're going to graduate in about a month and a half. But let me talk a little bit about our most recent graduates. So the students that graduated last year in 2014, we get them from all over the world. About 3/5 of them come from the Asia-Pacific region, so Australia, New Zealand, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia. And then the remaining 40% we try to get from the rest of the world, and all other continents are represented. So that's one of the things that we look at as we determine who we want to bring into our next cohort is, are you going to be someone who can contribute to the global learning and the international classroom that we're trying to build in our full-time MBA program. I'm not going to speak too much here about the actual structure of the 12-month full-time MBA. You can get that from our brochure, which is available off of our website, so you can just download that and have a look at it. What I will mention here is that it is a 12-month program. We begin in the second or first week of August, and you go all the way through until the following August. In the first 6 months, you'll be doing core subjects, and then at the halfway point around March, you'll be doing a subject called Business in Asia, where the entire cohort does an international experience and works on a live consulting case, a live project for a real client with real research and real recommendations that you make with business outcomes. In the second half of the program, it's a mixture of electives that you study. You may choose to pursue an international exchange program. You may also do an international or domestic internship or consulting project. In fact, every student in our program has the option of doing at least one, and some actually do multiple internships or consulting projects. And at the very end of the program, we have you do the capstone subject, business in complex environments, where we bring together everything that you've learned over the past 12 months into a final learning experience. So we realize that one of the reasons that you're pursuing an MBA is to affect a career goal. For some of you, you might be thinking that you want to transition into a new industry, a new functional area. For others, you might be thinking that you're happy where you are, either in your organization or in your industry, but you want to get to the next step in your career. You want to advance, get that next promotion, rise up the ladder. And so we equipped you in the MBA program to think about how you should tackle your career planning, not just in the short term, not right after the MBA program, but also 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, for the rest of your working career. So some of the things that we do with you is we help you understand what are your strengths and what are the weaknesses that you want to work on. We help you understand what the post-MBA job market looks like. What are the trends? What are the industries? What are the opportunities in your home country, in your home region, in other regions of the world? And then we work with you and support you on how you actually pursue and implement your career plan. So my colleague John Gursky, who's the director of the Career Management Center, he'll be running a future online information session that we'll do. But I'll just allude right now to some of the basics, and then when he does his information session later this year, you'll be able to get more information about how specifically the Career Management Center help you in their activities, but also in the MBA curriculum, get you ready for those post-MBA job opportunities. You'll see right here on the screen that 91% of our students from the last year who graduated had jobs 4 months after graduation. As I alluded to earlier, every student who wanted an internship or a project was able to do one, and again, some were able to do multiple internships or projects if they could fit it in those second 6 months of the program. And in the latest Financial Times rankings, we were in the top 25 amongst business schools outside of the United States for job placement of MBA students. You'll also see on the main part of the slide some of the companies that we engage with. Many of them come onto campus during on-campus recruitment. Many of them participate in industry panels, company presentations. They provide feedback on live case competitions, judging panels. So we have close connections with business and with the organizations that you're looking to transition into as you pursue an MBA and think about your career afterwards. As I alluded to earlier on, we work hard to construct a global classroom, and part of that is we want people who are open to working anywhere in the world as their career progresses. So we want people who are excited about the opportunities emerging in developing markets. We are excited to bring in students who want to see where disruptive technologies in certain industries can take society, and that happens all around the world. So those who are open to a global career post-MBA and working in various regions, developed markets and also developing markets, those are the students that we want to bring into our full-time MBA program. So I'll also talk a bit about our faculty, and I'll allude to a couple of characteristics of our faculty and what you should be thinking about as you explore different MBA programs. So our faculty teach and are renowned for the high quality of instruction in our classroom, but also they know how to apply learning from the classroom into business, because what we teach you in the classroom, it doesn't really mean much if you can't apply it in your post-MBA career. So our faculty members teach, but they also do research and they consult or are practitioners in industry. So our faculty members, they create the latest frameworks. They have leading edge insight into how we do things better in business. And the impact for you in the classroom is that then you become more prepared to tackle the current and future business problems that organizations and society are facing. So at some institutions, the faculty members teach out of textbooks. Our faculty are writing the textbooks, or they're writing the case studies, or doing the research and generating the frameworks that appear in future textbooks. So that's why we put a high importance on not just quality of instruction and the learning experience that you students get in the classroom, but also the research that our faculty are known for and their connections and applicability to the business environment. I'll also make a mention here about our marketing faculty. So our marketing faculty were rated number 3 in the world in the discipline-specific rankings in the most recent Financial Times. And this is Associate Professor Mark Ritson, who teaches our brand management elective. So he teaches brand management, but he also has done consulting for over a decade at places like LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, the luxury house of brands, Baxter Healthcare, and other organizations that you'll be familiar with. So students who take brand management and our other subjects, they learn what our faculty members are doing with the business community right now. So for those of you who have never been to Melbourne, you might be surprised to find out that Melbourne has been ranked for the 4th year in a row as the most livable city in the world, according to the Economist Quality of Life Survey. There's so much going on in Melbourne all year around. So Melbourne is one of the world capitals for sport. We have the Australian Open Tennis Championships in January. We have the Grand Prix in March. We have international sporting events. So this week we have AC Roma and Manchester City, and also Real Madrid here playing in the International Champions Cup. And so for those of you who love soccer, AFL, Australian rules football, tennis, Grand Prix, horse racing, Melbourne has it. There's also a lot on offer in terms of arts and culture. We have the Melbourne International Comedy Festival in March and April. It's the 3rd largest one behind Edinburgh and Montreal. We also have the International Film Festival, and so you'll never be bored in Melbourne. There's always something to do, and it's a city that's easy to get around. Public transport is good, it's compact, it's pedestrian friendly. So for those of you who are looking to spend a year in a place where it's such a joy to live in, Melbourne is one of the places that you'll want to consider. So what we're hoping to do in this online information session, and also future ones, and as you meet us at info sessions in cities where you live, is we want to give you as best of a sense as possible of what it would be like if you joined our MBS community. So we have a highly intimate learning environment where all the students know each other, all the faculty and administrative staff members know the students by name, we know your background, you're not just a student ID number. And so we're looking for students who want to be a part of our collaborative, intimate learning environment, because that's what makes the MBS community. So I'll talk a little bit more about the investment. So the tuition for the upcoming full-time intake is 81,400 Australian dollars. For those of you who are Australian citizens, you may use the Fee Help loan scheme offered by the Commonwealth Government. Regardless of whether you're an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or an international student, almost 2/3 of our full-time MBA students receive some sort of financial assistance. This might be company sponsorship from the organization that they are coming from. This could be external scholarships, for example, the Asian Development Bank or the Endeavour Scholarship from the Australian government. And we also offer a generous range of partial and full scholarships from MBS, and you'll see a smattering of them on the slide, and there will be more that we'll talk about at info sessions in your part of the world. So you'll probably be thinking, what do I need to do to qualify for the MBA program? So here are some of the admissions criteria we look at. The GMAT is required for admission. The average for our full-time MBA is about 690. We do require an undergraduate degree. It can be in any discipline. It does not have to be in a traditional field for business such as commerce or economics or finance. We get students who come from psychology, international relations, sport, journalism, literature. So that's part of the richness of the diversity that we construct in the classroom. It's not just the global classroom, but it's a classroom where people come from different industries and have studied different things at the undergraduate level, because that enhances the learning in the classroom. We do require proficiency in English, so if you did not complete your undergraduate degree in English, you will need to take the IELTS or the TOEFL to demonstrate that you can handle the rigors of business English in our classroom and as you're engaging with companies that we bring onto campus. In terms of some of the soft skills we're looking at, we want people who can contribute uniquely to the learning environment. So if there's something in your background that we don't tend to get from other applicants, something about your part of the world, how business is conducted in your country, or some industry experience that might be a bit niche and not common in an MBA classroom, life circumstances that you might have faced that affect how people think about society and business. Those are the types of things that we want to hear about when you complete your personal statements, and if you make it to the interview round, that we want you to talk about, right? So what is it that you can contribute to the learning environment in the classroom that we're likely to get from other candidates in the admissions pool? We also look for leadership potential, so these are people who have demonstrated that they contribute back to their society, their community, some sort of peer group, and that they are active people who want to make a difference for those reference groups. So it could be that you've taken a leadership position in your cultural community, wherever you live, or an extracurricular activity, a sporting group, or a professional networking group. But those are some of the things that we want to hear about in your application for admission. So in terms of the application itself, it's done on our website. So if you just visit mbs.edu, you can apply online. Look for the Apply Online button. Again, we're going to need to see the GMAT. We'll need to see your undergraduate transcript. We'll have to have your most recent CV. So we're going to be looking for at least 2 years of work experience after the completion of the bachelor's degree. And again, even if you don't feel that you have traditional business work experience, you may still very much qualify. So for example, if you have a military background, your service in the military as a full-time officer, that counts as work experience. Some of you might be elite or professional athletes and your career is sport. That is also something that we can consider to be full work experience. So don't think that just because your work experience is not what we traditionally consider to be in the business domain, that it's not relevant. If anything, you might have something unique to contribute to the insights that we talk about in the classroom. We're going to need to know your citizenship so that we can verify whether you'll need a student visa to come. And as I mentioned, if you haven't done your undergraduate degree in English, we'll need to see proof in the IELTS or the TOEFL that you'll be able to contribute to the discussion in the classroom. The personal statements that I alluded to just recently, we're going to need 4 personal statements. They're each about 300 words long, and you can log in to our website to start an application and see the 4 personal statements that you'll need to complete for the admission cycle that you are targeting. We're going to need reference letters from 2 people. So think about 2 people who can serve as your referees. These are people who should be able to comment about how they witnessed you perform as a business person and the potential they see in you for future business leadership. So if a current or former manager is someone who would be supportive of your application, that's someone that you can contact to be a referee. But even if not, it could be a customer, it could be a supplier. If you work in the area of compliance and regulation, it might be a government agency partner that you've been working with. So anyone who can give us specific details about how you've impressed them as a business professional and how they could see you really becoming a future business leader. Those are the types of people that you want to approach to be your referees. So, so start thinking about whom you might contact and start having those conversations. You want to give them enough time so that they can fill out those reports on your behalf. So application closing deadlines, we are just about to kick off our recruitment drive for the August 2016 full-time MBA program. And you'll see that we do admissions in rounds. So the first round coming up, and that is a round targeted for the Asian Development Bank, the ADB scholarship. That's the 31st of August. So if you check their website, you'll see a list of countries that are eligible for the ADB and other criteria that you need to fulfill. But if you are someone from one of those countries and you fulfill the criteria, do look to try to put in your application by the end of next month. After that, we have a range of scholarships that we are starting to award. 19th of October, those are the Diversity Excellence Scholarships. So those are a lot of the MBS scholarships that we mentioned a few slides ago. 15th of January, that's round 3. So that is the deadline if you want to apply for the Dean's International Management Scholarship. That is a full tuition scholarship for an international student, so someone who's not an Australian citizen or permanent resident. If you want to be considered for that, you have to get your application in by the 15th of January. And then round 4, 31st of March, that's the Rupert Murdoch Fellowship. That is a full tuition scholarship and a contribution to living expenses for an Australian citizen or permanent resident. And finally, at the very end of our cycle, we can consider taking applications from domestic students as late as April. But we encourage you not to wait that late in the cycle. So get in one of the earlier rounds, because then you optimize your chances for scholarship consideration, and also we can evaluate you thoroughly for the admissions criteria. I hope this helps give you a sense of what it would be like if you came to MBS to study and to join our community. After you graduate, you join our alumni community. We are all over the world, and we do events all throughout the year, but especially in March, we have our annual Global Alumni Celebration. And I think earlier this year in March, we did it in 40 different countries all around the world. Some of them were big events that had 100 people or so. Others were intimate gatherings of 7 people. But no matter where you are in the world, you will likely find MBS alumni that you can dine with. So one of the things we like to say is if you're traveling for work or for pleasure almost anywhere in the world, you'll never have to dine alone, because you're likely to find a fellow alum who's happy to meet up with you and to share experiences and reminisce about what it was like to study at MBS and spend time in Melbourne. So that is it for our online information session. Look, if you think that we're a program that you want to investigate further, let's continue the conversation. You can go onto our website. Also, you can email us at study@mbs.edu if you have any questions around specifics with admissions criteria, or to get more information about the program that you can't really find in the brochure. Give us a call. Social media as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So find out more about what our current students are doing, the types of senior executives we bring in for our Dean's Leaders Forum events, types of engagement activities we're doing all around the world. So we may very well be doing something in your country coming up in the next 6 to 12 months. So I want to thank you again for taking the time to join us at this information session, and we do hope to hear from you again in the near future. Take care and all the best.